What's up, Garden Church? It's Pastor Darren, and I want to give you a pastoral update. It's September, and we are heading into October. We just started fall, and it's been over 6 months now since we haven't gathered in person on Sunday morning. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you who came out to our drive-through service. It was an incredible time. We had hundreds of people show up where they would drive in a parking lot at Long Beach Christian Fellowship, and we had gifts for them. We had gifts for their kids, and we got to see each other, and we got to connect, and it was the best Sunday I've had since we started this whole online church experience. I got to meet a bunch of you who are brand new to our church, never been to a gathering. You started coming to our church through our online services, and that's amazing. It was so great to connect with you. I also got to meet some new babies. We had so many new kids that were born over the last 6 months, and it was incredible to see you families, new families that are forming, and it was such a gift to see your faces and to be with you, and I'm so excited to be with you. I long to be with you as a church, which brings me to some big news. We are going to have our first in-person gathering on October 11th. Mark your calendars. October 11th is the 11-year anniversary of the Garden Church. We are going to have a 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. service that's going to be held outdoors at the Neighborhood Christian Fellowship in Bellflower. Now, it's a bit farther than downtown Long Beach, but this church has generously opened up its doors to us to meet in this crazy time. They have been gracious and generous. They see their property as a kingdom asset, and they've offered us this big outdoor area for us to gather as a church. We want to gather and ensure safety, and we want to honor the local regulations that were given to us by LA County that have been outlined by their instructions. And we are going to have 2 services. But in order to attend this event, you have to register for it. I know that sounds strange, but in order to make sure that we keep us safe, we want to have you RSVP as soon as you can. There's limited space for these 2 services. So as soon as it goes live, go onto the app, go onto the website, and register yourself and your household, your family, your roommates, your friends, the people that you want to join, because we are going to have an epic worship gathering outdoors. We are going to gather as the church again on October 11th to celebrate our 11-year anniversary, but most of all to celebrate Jesus. And so I'm very excited for that. In order to safely gather, we require everyone to bring their own blanket or their chair. We also want you to wear a mask at all times, and we are so excited to see your faces and get to worship. So October 11th, first in-person gathering outdoors in Bellflower. More information online. If you don't feel comfortable coming to a gathering, I totally understand, okay? We are going to have our normal live stream events on October 11th at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. We will have our pre-recorded gathering or services available for you online like always. So I want to make sure that you feel comfortable. We will have an 8 a.m. And a 10 a.m. live stream service online, and we will have in-person gatherings on October 11th, 9 and 11. How cool is that? Second announcement. We are empowering our digital community starting this week to regather in person, and we know that the church is going to flourish in house church environments, in our homes, in smaller gatherings. That's why years ago, since we started our church, we've always had small groups, whether they were life groups, community groups, missional communities, garden groups, or house churches, and currently digital communities. We have always known that the church flourishes in these smaller environments. That's where a discipleship community is formed. And so we are excited to just bless the digital communities for those that feel comfortable gathering in person. We want to make sure that you do that. But we also want to make sure that you do that by honoring the guidelines of our county and our state. And so we will do in-person gatherings, and we're going to do that with an emphasis of keeping everyone healthy and honoring the guidelines that have been given to us. So we will be sending out information online so you can know and be resourced on what it looks like to do church right now in small group gatherings, whether that's through house churches or digital communities. I know that a lot of digital communities are wanting to move their gatherings to a Sunday morning where they can watch the live stream together and then discuss the sermon and worship together and take communion together. I know some digital communities are going to have rhythms put into place where maybe it's every other week they gather in person. I know some are just going to be start gathering in person in backyards. And still, we just want to make sure that you know that we want to make sure that you feel comfortable in this season for your family and your household to gather safely. Some of you aren't going to feel comfortable to gather, and that's okay. We have to embrace everyone where they're at with this exceptional time, this crazy time of COVID-19. For my family in particular, this has been really hard. My son has compromised lungs since he was 6 weeks old. My wife is high risk due to a heart condition. In our household, for the last 6 years since we had our kid, if we got a cold, it turns into an 8-week ordeal, or the flu often would send us to the ER because our son couldn't breathe with the basic cold or flu that people get. And so for us, we're high risk, and that is challenging. It's challenging to engage in church and community when you are dealing with the potential threat of high-risk sickness. And I get that. And we're not afraid. We're not anxious. We've just recognized the cost that it is for us to protect our family. And so we will continue to meet online with our digital community. And I want to make sure that you hear what I'm saying. You see, brothers and sisters, there's a lot of debate about this out there. There's a lot of arguing. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of insensitivity to where people are. And I want to encourage you to love well, to don't take offense. Don't constantly get upset over what people are posting or what they're doing or not doing. We're not policing anyone, but we want to lovingly engage in the world around us to our best ability. So for us, we're going to do a large gathering outside, following all the precautions that we need to in order to have healthy gatherings, October 11th. But also, we want to gather as small groups, as digital communities. We want to create these discipleship communities because we want you to flourish as the church. And they're going to do that in a variety of ways based on what you feel comfortable with. We want to include everyone in this and be sensitive to our brothers and sisters around us. Are you with me? Can I get an amen? I want to encourage you, brothers and sisters, in this time to live with integrity and honor. Live with honor. I was reading in 1 Peter recently, and I came across this translation from the Message. It says this: make the master proud of you by being good citizens. Respect the authorities. Whatever their level, they are God's emissaries for keeping order. It is God's will that by doing good, you might cure the ignorance of the fools who think you're a danger to society. Exercise your freedom by serving God, not by breaking the rules. Treat everyone you meet with dignity. Love your spiritual family. Revere God and respect the government. This is from 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 13 through 17 from the Message. I think it's appropriate for this. Whatever side you find yourself on in this hyper-polarized community, to honor one another, to love, to live in a way that brings honor to the people around you, to respect the government, to revere God, and to love the family of God. First Peter translates this in the NIV. It says, live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as God's slaves. Show proper respect to everyone and love the family of believers. Fear God and honor the emperor. Could you imagine for a moment living in one of the churches that Peter's writing to, where the Roman emperor at the time was Nero, who would light his garden parties with Christian bodies? He would burn them alive. That was the emperor. And Peter is writing to the church in that context saying, honor the emperor. So I don't care where you stand politically. We honor those in front of us, even when they dishonor. We must love. We must live as an example. Are you with me? So church, I hope you're encouraged. We're moving forward as a community. I want to encourage you to continue to give generously in this time. I know it's a time where you don't know where things are going to be financially. There's a lot of fear out there, but we are a church. We are doing a lot right now. Our staff is on fire and they're creating amazing things. We're excited to launch a few things this fall, but I hope you're with us for this season. We love you guys. I miss you. I can't wait to be with you in person on October 11th. God bless you. Grace and peace.